everybody, it's Matt the Dice Chucker from the Literary Gamers coming to you with another book review. Seems to be all I'm doing nowadays. Today we're taking a look at Death's Mistress by Terry Goodkind. This is the first in the Nicci Chronicles, and I think later on they even call it Nicci Sister of Darkness Chronicles. Let me take a look at this. No, not later. It's right here in the beginning. Just doesn't say it on the cover. Can't turn that page. Yeah, Sister of Darkness, the Nicci Chronicles 1. Alright, so we have finished with the Sword of Truth series, or at least the second ending of the Sword of Truth, which was Warheart. Death's Mistress is considered to be a spin-off. This is not an extension of the Sword of Truth series. And I'm not sure what the plan was for this series, if it was meant to be longer or not, but what we get is 4 books out of the Nicci Chronicles. And then we also have Children of Dahara, which I'll cover in a few weeks. So what's going on in Death's Mistress? Death's Mistress was very much an adventure-style book, and I actually liked that. I can't talk. We're with Nicci and Nathan Rahl, and they are off to discover more of the Daharan Empire past the edges of the map. I've talked about the map before in Terry Goodkind's world, and about how I wish it was a bit more detailed. And I think, this is interesting for us because we get to see more of it. We're going up into that eastern portion where most of the Richard and Kaelin books took place, and then we'll make our way back down to the old world. So we're getting a lot of episodic adventure-style things, and it was a nice change of pace from what had been going on in the recent books. There is a villain at the end of the book, but this really is just kind of a travel log. Here's this adventure, boom, we've got that. Here's this adventure, boom, got it, okay. But there are a few things that happen. They go and see the Witch Woman Red from the Richard and Kaelin books, and Nathan Rahl wants a life book, which is it's a book that says things that happened in his life and are going to happen and all that stuff. And it says that, of course, Nicci will save the world. And it's fantasy. Surprise! Someone's going to save the world. Not that it's like apocalyptic ideal of saving the world, but she'll save the world. And Nathan's going to have some issues with his magic. Okay, so you got me interested. We're moving along. We meet up with a character named Bannon. He joins the group, and he's kind of like your basic warrior, swords person. We have the wizard, we have the sorceress, and we have right now your warrior class. And eventually Nathan's magic starts to wane away. He either has no control over it or he can't bring it around at all. And so that really is your conflict here in this first book. Nicci is still, her regular imposing self. And Bannon is kind of like, and this is a weird thing to say, Bannon feels to me like a very naive Richard as the story progresses. And we get a lot of information and details about things, and the world building is really neat. And for the first time in a long time, I think I can say this, I didn't feel any of Goodkind's my way is the right way style of writing, and everyone else is wrong, and here's why. You see this in Severed Souls, Third Kingdom, Naked Empire. It's this, a lot of people call it the political preaching. I understand why that upsets people. Here at the jumping point of a new series, it didn't need to be there. And I'm so happy that in Death's Mistress we get just an adventure book. I mean, it was refreshing. We eventually go to a place where what's her name? I'm going to try to find it. There is I think it's a witch woman. Yeah, Victoria is like siphoning the life away from this this city, and I believe it's on a cliff wall, I think is its name. and Nicci has to go fight her. So that was interesting in its own way. And even Nicci has this whole eye roll thing of, oh, I gotta save the world. I don't know how I'm gonna save the world. I don't know what it needs saving from, but I gotta save the world. Anyway, so what are my thoughts on Death's Mistress? I have a lot more good to say about this book than I do bad. The bad of the book that I will say is, being an episodic book, some episodes were paced faster than other episodes. So that is the only negative I really have. I like Bannon. He's kind of your fish out of water in this story. I love the conflict with Nathan, because there's a lot of times in certain adventures where you can say, oh, well, Nathan should just use his magic and they'd be out of this. But he can't. So now they're using different ways to kind of handle what's going on. The writing is good. Not too long-winded. We don't have 200-page chase scenes. We don't have 100-page sermons about politics. This is just adventure to adventure. And there's a lot of promise moving forward with the Nicci Chronicles. What else can I say about this book? I'm taking a look at it now just to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. There's really not much to say about Death's Mistress, besides that it's just very bullet pointed, I think is the right way to call it. The all-new epic. Epic, sure, I'll give it that. It's grand in scale. Absolutely. I can't fault it for that. The character of Nicci is still very closed. I still feel like... So, especially in the Chainfire trilogy, you got the feeling that Nicci was really carrying that torch for Richard in more ways than other. You get the idea that if Kaelin wasn't around, Nicci would have definitely taken the opportunity to be closer to Richard than just a friend. That does also continue here in some of her character development. And I wish that that would have been dropped. It's fine to mention it every now and then, but it's mentioned a lot. And I don't want a lot of Nicci's character development to be based on the if only I was with Richard idea. So I guess if there's another negative, that's it. Nicci could be a bit more fleshed out. Trying to think of what else here. Nathan, it's nice to see more of Nathan. Nathan was he wasn't even a tertiary character in the Sword of Truth series. He was really a minor character that actually had a lot to do with Richard's backstory. It's great to see him here, gain more information about him. You learn a lot about Nathan Rahl. Bannon is a character driven by a lot of guilt due to his family issues, and I enjoyed seeing him overcome a lot of that. This is going to be a shorter review. I'm trying to make these book reviews shorter. Now, that being said, I do want to talk a little bit about the book and, when does it end? When does this whole Sword of Truth thing end? And, well, I think we can easily say that it's over now, because unless there's another book that's been found among Mr. Goodkind's estate, then I don't think we're getting any more Terry Goodkind books. And I'm not sure if anyone else is going to be writing stories in this universe. I think it's officially done. Children of Dahara and Heart of Black Ice officially sealed it. Next week, we're going to take a look at Shroud of Eternity. Shroud of Eternity, probably considered one of the most controversial books in the last decade. And not because the book itself was controversial. There's nothing in the book that's controversial. It was a lot of the author reactions to the artist and things like that. Part of me wonders if that's why the Nicci books were cut short. 4 books in the Nicci Chronicles, and believe me when I say it feels like there could have been more. There could have been a lot more. I don't know if Mr. Goodkind felt his health was deteriorating. There's so many questions unanswered. But one thing that can be very clear is kind of the backlash between the author and the artist, and kind of the online reaction to him. It's possible that that's why we only got 4. I don't know. We'll talk about it more next week, more in depth, which is why this review is being short, because there's not much to say about this book. This book is solid. It's got great character development, good world building. I think it's actually one of my more favorites in the whole world of the Sword of Truth. And not to give away any spoilers on my opinions, it doesn't get much better from here. Okay? He did a really great job with Death's Mistress. And I think each one gets progressively worse, because especially after Shroud of Eternity, each one gets progressively rushed. Especially Heart of Black Eyes. We'll talk about that when we get to it. So, that's going to be all for today. Like I said, shorter review. Next week it's going to be longer. I'm going to do a lot more digging for next week. But Death's Mistress, actually recommend this one. You sadly do need to read all the other books in the Sword of Truth series to kind of figure out what's going on here. Or, I mean, you could just go ahead and online and look up a synopsis of all the previous books. That's something that you could do. Anyway, that's it for me today. This is Death's Mistress, Terry Goodkind, and we'll see you next time, folks.